Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello. Gary here for Bizarre Brain Comics. And this is where I like to take a look at some older comics. Talk about the characters and the creators and examine the stories and the art. This one's not too awfully old. It's less than 30. I'm going to take a look at this. World of Archie, number 7 from 1994. And then we'll take a look at what the Big Book of Knowledge has to say about it. Ooh. And this is the World of Archie, number 7, 1994, from Archie Comics. And the story is Triassic Lark by Bob Bolling, writer, and drawn by Rex Lindsey. And the World of Archie is the title, which was started in 92, and most of this title features more adventurous fare, with one storyline filling out the whole issue, being Archie. These adventures were filled with humor and silliness, but they're a lot of fun. In many ways, I like them better than the standard Archie hijinks. And talk about the artist Rex Lindsey, and he was born in 1955, and he's from Colorado Springs, just a little ways south of here. And he was an alum of the Joe Kubert School of Cartooning and Graphic Arts. That's a name we hear a lot of, Joe Kubert. And he was part of the comic studio, the Kubies, which I gather they're the ones who did for Joe Kubert's school. Did little projects that were for advertisements and the like. Okay, and he that was in the late 70s. He got his first comics work through Joe Kubert in the early 80s, working on DC's Sergeant Rock and on First Comics' Edge of Chaos. And I had a couple of issues of that, I think. Then he moved over to Archie Comics. There he was doing inking work on the Archie Adventure line, eventually becoming one of the primary artists for Archie, with stuff like World of Archie, Archie 3000, Jughead, amongst others. And he also works for Bongo Comics, penciling the Simpsons stories, or some of them. Are they still in production? I don't think I've seen a new Simpsons comic book in years. But they may still be out there. I don't know. I haven't watched The Simpsons in ages, but I like them, and I like the comics, especially Treehouse of Horror. Let's take a look in the adventurous world, in the world of Archie. Okay, and here you can get a better look at that cover by Rex Lindsey. And you can see right off the bat, of course, it is of a more adventurous nature, with even though it's stylized, because that's a cartoonish looking T-Rex. But it's good, well composed, well drafted, well drawn, nicely inked. Now you see here, I just have to marvel that Veronica here, she has an incredibly waspish waist. And I really like the inking job on this. Nice and bold. And it has a lot of implied detail. And it looks like a lot of this color background stuff was done on computer rather than originally drawn. And it's nice. It gives you an idea of what's to come. Now, this story, as I said, was written by Bob Bolling. We've talked about Bob Bolling before. He was the creator of Little Archie and primary cartoonist on Little Archie for many years, and back in the 60s. And he and when I talked about him was with Marvel's Star imprint story of Wally the Wizard, and I think he did a really good job on that. He does a good job with humorous adventure stories, and I like those. I like those a lot. As I said, sometimes I think I like it better than the regular Archie fare. I still like those stories, but I like these in the mix. And some people don't like these stories, and for some reason, when they do a more adventurous title, they never seem to last too long. And I don't know why. I always like those the best. Now let's take a little look inside. Triassic Lark. And of course, this is inspired by the movie Jurassic Park, the popularity thereof, and is a parody of it. And here you go. Betty's seen these photographs. Mr. Lodge showing Veronica these pictures, these dinosaurs, and she said, "Oh, that's marvelous." He said, "They look so lifelike." He said, "They are real, and these pictures were only taken 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks ago, and how he lays out, gives a little background on some evolution here, and he said they're going to go to this island where these pictures were taken, some secluded island someplace, and they're going to check things out, and he's taking Veronica with him. He said, he'll write a project. Write a paper for the project for school. That's how he got that okayed. So here they are on the yacht, heading down there wherever it is. And then he says, "Oh yeah, I'm mostly concerned about this crazy pseudoscientist, Dr. DT's. He's working for his own gain, and here it shows a picture of him standing on the conning tower of his own submarine. And they're submarine. What are they doing?" And they're going and going and going. Then she realizes, he's probably in jail somewhere. She says, "No," it says, "Informants tell me he plans to collect dinosaur eggs, hatch them, and when the dinosaurs have grown, they will be used in circus acts and supermarket openings." Oh, how awful. And it would be a lot more than that, of course. So here we are, flashing to Riverdale High. The girls, there's Betty and the other girls, they're watching the boys doing their cheerleading practice, watching the boys on the football practice, and Archie injures his leg. "Oh my gosh, Archie!" And so he's going to be on crutches he's going to be out of commission for about 6 weeks. And Betty thinks that's just great. That means with Veronica gone, she gets to nurse Archie back to health all by herself. Yes. And Veronica hears about it. Says, "Oh my gosh!" Because they're always rivals for Archie's affections. And she makes arrangements that since Archie's laid up, he can't play, etc., etc. He makes arrangements to have Archie come down and join them on their little outing. This is how they found it. So, here's Archie's house, and here's music blasting. Post-haste express mail. It says, "Dilt, you're the first person to know besides me. I can't hear about that awful music." Said, "I just got an airline ticket." "Well, that's great. This will give you an opportunity to use the new travel crutches I made for you." And it has got a pop can holder, a flashlight, a radio, a few other things. I said, okay, I'll take them. And here we are. They're seeing Archie off. Bye-bye. And this is part 2 where he lands in hours later. Oh, Archie Kins, Coco Loco. That's where the plane was going. That's where they're picking him up. Island of Coco Loco. The airport there, picking him up, and on their helicopter. I think this is his artwork. I think is really, really nice, and of course it's simplified and stylized for everything. It still looks relatively realistic. And it's kind of a funny looking helicopter, but it's not unreasonable, especially for this stuff. So they pick him up in the helicopter, and I think the visual storytelling is real nice. He has nice detail without going overboard, and not too understated, because you can see, like in the background here, it's nice, reasonable detail. Anyway, they take him, and they're heading back to the boat, which is out by the island. And here they fly over the island. And here we can take a look. It's all before the sun goes down. It's getting dark. So sorry, kids, not quite light enough to see anything down here. So that they can't see anything, but we can see what's there. Some see a Triceratops and a Pachycephalosaurus and I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, they're going around, and then they see, there's Dr. DT's submarine. Blast. We've got to follow him and see what's going on. He's up to no good. There he's getting out, and he's getting in his own little helicopter. And of course, they're way high, so he can't. Doesn't know that they're there. So they follow him into the island. He finds a clearing. Gets out, finds some nests, and starts collecting eggs. Now, this is something that is really interesting. I wanted to mention briefly, in that, of course, this is after Jurassic Park, but before The Lost World. The novel of The Lost World by Michael Crichton came out in 1995. And in the book, not in the movie, in the book, a major part of the plot was the villain stealing dinosaur eggs, rather than in the movie where they were capturing all these dinosaurs. They were stealing the dinosaur eggs. And this is just like here. So this is weird, because they had no way of knowing that. And that's what Michael Crichton did. Well, he's stealing eggs. Here's Mama or Papa Dino. They're not thrilled with that. And they're chasing him. And and so we got to save him. They lower Jacob's ladder. He grabs onto that just in time to save him from the dinosaur. To drop the eggs, because he can't hang on, but it doesn't matter. They get caught and made into scrambled eggs. Now he's really angry. He says, "You can at least say thank you," says Veronica. Then they're attacked by a pterosaur. Woo! And we see that in later Jurassic Park movies too. It's funny. Funny way tries to land on the rotor and then gets spun around, and the helo crashes. But they're all safe, uninjured. But then they're confronted by some, I think they're supposed to be raptors and saber-toothed cats, separated by millions and millions of years. But this is more, because these were not created dinosaurs like in Jurassic Park. This is just a literal lost world. Kind of like The Lost World and The Land That Time Forgot. And they're on the run. Mr. Lodge tries to hold the dinos at bay by throwing rocks at them. They get into the cave, but they're being held back. There's no place to go. And Archie tries to save him. He smashes one of his crutches, but it's one of his fancy crutches that Dilton made for him. And in the thing, the tape player starts playing, and it's playing strange waltz music. Oh, look at the beast! It's a waltz by Strauss. Oh, And the music is so soothing, it puts the beasties right to sleep. And that gives them a chance to get into this smaller aperture in the back of the cave that Veronica's found before the beasties wake up. And the dinos can't get in, but the cats can. And here they are. Oh, it's a ledge. It's as far as they can go over a river. Nice kitties, nice kitty. Oh, and here, this pinup right in the middle. And I really like this. This is also by Rex Lindsey. Fossil fun. And here she, of course, with the theme, she found a piece of amber with a mosquito in it. Just like in Jurassic Park. But it's, I mean, very nicely done. I like that it has the trilobite fossils there. Got some other stuff. Got fossilized footprints, a trackway, and looks like a fossilized skeleton of a raptor back there. Now back to the story. Part 4, and the kitties are getting closer and closer, and then the ledge collapses. Into the drink they go, and they're swept away down the river. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And Archie's last crutch gets broken, but he's still hanging on to it. They get swept over a little waterfall. They're out of the cave, off the island. They start swimming towards the yacht, and then a modern day menace, crocodiles. Oh, he's being menaced by this big old croc. Oh, Archie says, I saw this in an Errol Flynn movie, and sticks this busted crutch right in his gaping maw, and gives them a chance for the rescue boat to pick him up. And then they've had a chance to talk it over. There's the Dr. DTs on his submarine and says, yes, it would be best to leave them to their own fate as nature intended, although I shall always be in the dinosaur business. Always be in the dinosaur business? What does that mean? Just as he goes away. And here we are, months later. Football game going on. There's Archie getting out there. He's all recovered, everything. And then they say, oh, what's this? What's this? This looks like a dinosaur shadow. There's Dr. DT's. He says it's a demon dinosaur. It's full of hot air. Not you, only my pets. Dr. DT's. And they are inflatable dinosaurs. Balloons. And they're part of the halftime show as an experiment, because he plans on doing this for big games and the like. And then meanwhile, so they're all happy. Meanwhile, back on the island, there's Dr. DT's helicopter, which his pterosaur is using for a nest and laying eggs in. And that's it for this. Good, clean fun. Nice parody of Jurassic Park, and some really nice. I really like Rex Lindsey's artwork and his style. His a good draftsmanship. He has a good way of abbreviating things, so there's detail but not too much, and he simplifies perspective realistically, so that you barely notice it. Like here, you don't even notice there is virtually no linear perspective. They have some in this one, but not a whole lot. But then it's really good. And then, of course, that cover. That'd make a nice poster. I like that. Anyway, that is what I've got for World of Archie number 7, Triassic Lark. And as I've said, it's the more adventurous Archie stuff, and I'll cover some more of that another time. Thank you for joining me. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and remember, comics are art.